Well folks, this is the 3D representation I have of our house in Bakung. It's a lot of work going into making that, I can tell you. Primarily it is for planning. So even before we got our shipping containers from Melbourne, which I knew contained these shelves, I had these shelves drawn in that storeroom. Similarly, I knew the shapes and sizes of the fridges, so I had those in there, and my computer trolley, which is not accurately represented, but never mind. Now, the relevance of this drawing today is all these little labels you see here, 2B, 2B, 2A. These are actually all related to circuits on the new switchboard here. Top row 1, is RCPOs for lines to other houses as well as the main switch. Second row has 2 RCDs, each of which has 4 breakers on it. So we have RCD 2. So circuits on 2A are the first breaker on RCD 2. RCD 3, RCD 4, RCD 5. So if we look here, we'll see, okay, so that's the third circuit on the bottom left RCD. 3A, so that's first circuit on the second RCD. A lot of work went into planning all this and figuring out exactly what bits and pieces I needed to get. So they all came in the shipping containers from Melbourne. Lots of conduit, lots of mounting blocks, because we can't penetrate the walls given their, well, not easily, given their rendered brick. So double power points, pair of them, conduit up to the ceiling. Yesterday we actually got started on this beyond, well, some weeks ago I managed to mount this stuff here and got the, there's actually a cavity behind this sort of wiring to run down behind the switchboard into the various sections. So that's 3 lots of 80mm conduit, I think it is. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, on my own I could get all that done, and I couldn't do the penetration through the ceiling up into the roof space until I had help from Azra and Dadang, and they were busy on the rice factory. Well, that's fairly well wrapped up now, so yesterday I got some of their time, and we ran the power cable from a switch on the wall back here, along and across and around and up into the roof and back down again, and connected up to the main breaker in there. Then had to run an earth cable as well. So I had 3 1-metre earth spikes, which, given there's a convenient drain across the back of the house here, which is always going to keep the ground beneath it damp, we drove those 3 spikes in, leaving about 10 centimetres exposed on the outside of that drain, and wired all 3 together and cable up and across. So that meant that we then had our earth for the entire system, because it's 3-core cable running from here to the main switchboard, or new switchboard. Then I thought, okay, well, I wonder if we can try this. So I had a cable with made up already for the generators, so I connected the generator cable to the input of that main switch on the back wall, and we fired it up, and lo and behold, the meters which are wired in over here came to life and told me, okay, that generator generates 243 volts at 50 hertz. So that was pretty good. So that was yesterday's effort, which was not minor, but outside of the air-conditioned environment here, I turned to a puddle. So that process involved me changing out of saturated t-shirts twice. So that was enough for yesterday. So today, again, I had the services of Dadang and Azra. So what we've done is there are 2 new AC units going to go in. They're going to put big ones in lounge room and storeroom. So they'll require 15 amp dedicated circuits. So what I did was allocated 2A and 3D, and we ran those lines, and because I didn't have 15 amp outlets and the Indonesian AC unit won't have an Australian plug on it anyway, I just used a small junction box there. So the lead terminates in that at the moment, and when we get the AC units installed they can wire them in. There's already an AC unit on that wall there, but it's only a I think 12,000 BTU unit, which is not going to be adequate once we get this stuff all working, although that's working at the moment. That's only 175 watts. But the AV system is fairly power hungry, and I have a couple of computers which are going to go under there, which one of them's got a 1600 watt power supply in it, and hopefully won't use all of that, but it's going to be generating some heat. So I figured, no, I'm going to make sure I'm covered for that. So big AC unit here, big AC unit for there, because there's more computer equipment going to go there, and we have the 3 fridges that are all going to generate heat. There is no insulation in this house, so the heat migrates in from the ceiling. That's a later project. Once we've got all the wiring done, we're going to put rock wool insulation bats on the ceiling. So today we've got these 2 wired to their little junction boxes. That was the easy one, and then we tackled circuit 2B. Now that one entails a line from the switchboard to a junction box above the ceiling here, and there's, well, that power point is now over on this wall, and the lead for it anyway. I'm about to go and start wiring, installing mounting blocks and power points for these circuits on 2B. In the airlock here, there's one up near the ceiling that's going to be powering a UV bug zapper, which is going to be on a movement sensor between it and the switch. So that when people come in through here, or go out through there, the bug zapper will come on for 15 minutes and hopefully wipe out anything that comes in. And then there's a lower one down, so you can plug it back in, clean it or whatever. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power points to wire now. I'll take you out the back and actually show you the physical stuff, but I just went out now and started up the generator at the back, but we couldn't. Well, yesterday when we wanted to drive the earth spikes in, I got out my 1500 watt hammer drill, which only runs off the big generator. The smaller generator hasn't enough oomph to start it. So we started the big generator, which had a flat battery, but it started with a single pull start, so that was good. Then later on, when we wanted to actually test what we'd done, went to try and start it again, it wouldn't start. So we plugged the cable into the smaller generator, which is just a pull start job. That starts first pull every time, so that was fine. But I just went out earlier just to have another go with the big generator, and after about 4 pulls it started, so it's running hard at the moment, hopefully charging that battery. But it's a bit noisy out there. Even though it's relatively quiet for a generator, it's still noisy. But I can show you a little of what we've done physically here, and then we'll go out and and turn off that generator and show you what's on the wall. But yeah, so this is going to be done in small nibbles. Like today I will finish 2B, and next time I get Dadang and Azra, which might be tomorrow, we might tackle 5B, which is lounge room. I want to do the longer runs first because I have plenty of cable, I think, but whenever we run short on a particular reel, we can use that for the shorter runs. I did a lot of calculations for this stuff before I ever came up here, so I bought, I think it was 114 metres of conduit. I've since rejigged all my plans, so I probably don't need half that anymore, because I was going to run conduit down to manning blocks in the bedrooms. And what I found I could actually do was on the surrounds of the built-in wardrobes, I will be actually able to cut a hole through that, screw that on there, and there's actually a gap around the wardrobes. So we can have a penetration down through the ceiling to wire this one up, then run a cable across the top of the wardrobe and down to that one. And similarly on the other side. Similarly on the other side here, we'll drop one down to that and run another cable from there across and down to there. So they only require 2 ceiling penetrations and a small junction box up the roof. Similarly, next bedroom, I haven't actually updated this yet, but that will be the same sort of deal where I'll actually mount them on the edges of the wardrobe. So I will update that diagram, and similarly, in Bendy's room, I'll do the same thing there. They'll actually be mounted on the wardrobe. So originally I had these coming down from the ceiling with conduit, then I thought, no, I can sneak it across from the side of the wardrobe, and then I thought, nah, put the switch on the wardrobe. So it's evolved along the way. Similarly, originally I only had a single double power point for each of these drops, but I figured, well, hell, rather than use power boards, why not use double? So I'm going to zoom in a bit and then scroll up. You'll see that I've, scroll in. I've got 2 separate circuits for that side of the kitchen. One up there for the range hood. So there's lots and lots of double power points. So there's 4, 8, 12. Sorry, your driver's out of control. So there's 16 power outlets along that wall on 2 separate circuits. So that should be enough for our electrical appliances. And on the south wall, or walls, that TV is in place. That shelf actually is below the TV is higher, so I'll update this diagram sometime. So there'll be a drop down to a power point here. One over there for plugging in vacuum cleaner. Got to look at what's involved in this dishwasher here. I thought I actually had a double power point with a 3rd switch on it, which I was going to use here, with the 3rd switch being used for the dishwasher. But I can't locate that. I don't know whether I really have that or not. But if all else fails, run the power lead out across the back of the drawers, and that might actually go a bit higher, so the cord runs up here, keep it out of range of the little children a little bit more. So, yeah, so tomorrow or next time Dadang and Azra are available, lounge room, and maybe a small thing like this is the old switchboard out here, currently with the meter with a breaker on it running from the mains. What I've got is a circuit 2C in fact, which is going to run from here, a breaker here, up and across to a cutover switch. And the idea being that the line between that breaker and that switchboard will be parted, and the line will feed into one set of inputs in a cutover switch, the other set of inputs coming from 2C, and the output going to that switchboard. So that switchboard, we can then switch between off-grid and mains at will. Normally I expect it will be off-grid. My stepdaughter Lisa's house currently hangs off this same switchboard with no meter. I do have an RCB, RCBO, I think that's what they're called, combined breaker RCD. I do have one of those for each for several houses, 8 in fact, and the idea was that Dadang and Lisu, my stepchildren, their houses would have lines running to them to cut over switches so they could switch between mains and off-grid at will also. For the other houses, the plan is to buy a local power board, part the cord so that the plug is disconnected. That connects up to the normally open inputs and coil of a 10 amp relay, and a line from here to the person's house will feed into the normally closed I've got it right in my planning anyway, but I forget which way around it is. But the idea is that when the mains are on, the coil in the relay is activated, and the normally open contacts are connected to the output. If the mains power goes off, the relay de-energizes and the normally closed contacts connect to the output, and that will be from the off-grid system here. The idea is that these other 6 houses, other than Lisa and Dadang, they can plug in a fridge and a light, and when the power goes off on the mains here, which is not an infrequent thing, their fridge will keep running. They don't have a light if it's not. So that's for later. First we'll start with wiring this house. So I've talked enough. I will, and probably made you dizzy with zooming around in my diagram here. You can see those 2 range hoods are currently sitting in boxes in this room, as is that one. This is not laid out like this at the moment, and it may never be laid out like that. I've got that speaker box bolted to the wall and that CD tower in the corner. If I pan a little bit to the right, you'll be able to, whoa, this is, there they are, you can see those. And yeah, well, I'm not going to install that one until we've got most of the stuff in the lounge room here done, because it's going to be in the way otherwise. I'll get around to setting up and cabling the rear surround speakers at some stage. Really want to get the AV amplifier input position first. I think these 2 units will be swapped side to side because of the way things work out. Well, apparently I talked too long. After 20 minutes the recording stopped. So now I need to go and show you what was going to be on the rest of the recording. So the first part was, here we go with one of the circuits we put in today. If I focus on that, you'll see that that's just a junction box, but I've got everything labelled with which circuits it's on, so you'll never be in doubt about which circuit to de-energise you need. Okay, so off we go. So you can see the cable hanging there. I'm going to put 2 power points and some conduit on that. And we have cable, and a third cable in the corner you can't see over there. But I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 power points on those. I'll take you out and show you the... that was Dad. So there's the switchboard in its naked state at the moment. So we'll add a few circuits at a time to avoid me melting down. If we go out the back, yes, on the way out the back, we just check the thermometer. 34.2 in this back kitchen at about 85% humidity. Lovely. Because the rice factory is finished, or nearly finished, all the rice that was stacked up in here, which you might have seen in previous videos, was moved out yesterday. And that's the cable that feeds from out here. That will be fixed up better so that it's got support holding it in place up against the ceiling there. There's my main switch, temporary input from generators, my earth lead running from the earth spikes outside. And there's my generator that wouldn't start yesterday, but it started after about 4 pulls in the starter this morning, so I ran it for a while, and hopefully that is charged up now. And there's the other little one. And the earth spikes are outside behind that blue tarp, which I'm not going to take out and show you. But yeah, I'll edit this down and upload it.